Stop what you're doing, because the drama between Ciara and Chrissy just exploded into the kind of clash nobody saw coming, and it's pulling Jim Jones right into the fire. What started as whispers on social media turned into a public blowout when Ciara, tired of Chrissy's shade and slick comments, decided she wasn't staying quiet anymore. And when Ciara clapped back, she didn't just throw shade, she threw a storm. Witnesses say Ciara went off in a way that had fans screaming, Twitter timelines melting down, and Chrissy scrambling to save face. But the real twist: Jim Jones ended up caught right in the crossfire, with both women dragging his name into the chaos. Imagine your past and present colliding on the same stage. Fighting for dominance, that's exactly the position Jim was forced into. The fallout has already left fans divided. Some are siding with Ciara, praising her for finally standing up and exposing the disrespect. Others are riding for Chrissy, insisting she's only defending what's hers. And then there are those pointing fingers at Jim, claiming he's the one fueling the fire by refusing to pick a side. But here's the thing, this clapback wasn't just messy. It revealed secrets, stirred up old wounds, and unleashed receipts that could change everything. The only question left is this: whose truth is about to destroy the other? To really understand why Ciara's clapback at Chrissy has blown up the way it has, you've got to know the long, messy history that brought these women to this boiling point. And why Jim Jones being caught in the middle makes it 10 times more explosive. For years, Chrissy Lampkin has been a force in the love and hip-hop universe. She's bold, she's blunt, and she's never been afraid to say exactly what's on her mind. Especially when it comes to her long-term relationship with Jim Jones. They're on again. Off again engagement has been a storyline of its own, with Chrissy demanding her respect and battling to prove that she's the queen of Jim's world. Fans know Chrissy for her fiery personality and for how quickly things turn hostile when she feels threatened or disrespected. Enter Ciara. While Ciara has built her name as a music icon, a dancer, and one of the most polished performers in the game, she's not someone people expect to get tangled up in messy beefs. She's married to NFL superstar Russell Wilson, has a family, and often projects a picture-perfect image. But behind the scenes, Ciara's connections in the industry run deep, and one of those connections happens to be Jim Jones. Rumors have floated for years about friendly collaborations, old flirtations, and private conversations between Jim and Ciara. None of it was ever confirmed, until Chrissy allegedly started throwing shade. According to insiders, Chrissy has long felt like Ciara's presence in Jim's orbit was disrespectful. Whether it was industry parties, features being discussed, or old text messages that supposedly resurfaced, Chrissy has had her eye on Ciara. And as fans know, when Chrissy feels provoked, she doesn't sit quiet, she throws daggers. For months, Chrissy has been dropping sly comments online and in interviews. She didn't name Ciara directly, but fans connected the dots. Lines like, "Some women love pretending they're classy while they chase after someone else's man, and you can't buy loyalty. And you can't dance your way into someone's real life," were interpreted as shots at Ciara. While Ciara stayed quiet at first, her fans begged her to respond. They wanted to see the polished queen turn into a savage. And that's exactly what happened. Ciara has never been the type to throw public punches, but this time she snapped. Reports say she was tired of Chrissy painting her as the villain and dragging Jim's name into messy narratives. So when Chrissy allegedly mentioned her again in a recent rant, this time on live, with thousands of fans watching, Ciara finally clapped back. And when she did it with precision, with confidence, and with receipts. The background tension makes Jim's role even more complicated. Jim Jones has always been loyal to Chrissy, but his history of blurred lines with women in the industry is no secret. For Ciara, who has spent years reshaping her image into that of a strong, independent wife and mother, being tied into someone else's drama was beyond frustrating. For Chrissy, any connection Jim had with Ciara, past, present, or even professional, felt like a threat. What makes this clash so combustible is that it's not just about words. It's about respect, legacy, and territory. Chrissy has built her identity around being Jim's ride-or-die partner. Ciara has built hers on rising above mess and standing in her power. To see them collide publicly, with Jim's name being pulled into the spotlight, is like watching two worlds that were never supposed to touch collide head-on. And let's be real, fans love it. Twitter is calling it the beef we didn't know we needed. Instagram comment sections are filled with fans picking sides. Team Ciara versus Team Chrissy. Some say Chrissy has every right to defend her man. Others argue Ciara was unfairly dragged and had no choice but to clap back. And in the middle of it all, Jim Jones, a man who can't seem to escape the drama that follows his love life wherever he goes. This wasn't a random spat. This was years of tension bubbling up, triggered by Chrissy's sharp tongue and Ciara's refusal to let her narrative be controlled any longer. And when Ciara finally responded, she didn't just clap back. She set the stage for one of the most shocking twists the industry has seen in months. Because what came next? That's where the drama turned into a full-on explosion. The clapback that shook the internet didn't happen in a quiet corner. It exploded under the spotlight, in real time, with fans, bloggers, and insiders watching closely. For weeks, Chrissy had been lobbing subliminal shots Ciara's way, making sly digs about women, pretending to be classy while circling other people's men. Everyone knew who she was talking about, even if she never said Ciara's name outright. But this time, Ciara decided she wasn't going to let it slide. It all started on Instagram Live. Chrissy Midrant threw out the line. Some women need to stay in their own lane. Stop trying to make history with men who already have queens. The comments section erupted. Fans flooded the chat. She's talking about Ciara. Oh no, not Cece. And before Chrissy could even finish her thought, screen recordings were already making the rounds. Hours later, Ciara broke her silence. She posted a video.com collected, but with fire in her tone. In it, she didn't mince words. I've sat quiet while my name's been tossed around like it's free promotion. But let's get one thing straight. I've never needed another woman's man to validate me. I built my life, my career, and my family on my own terms. If Chrissy's got insecurities, that's between her and Jim, not me. Boom, the internet froze. The clapback wasn't just shade, it was a direct hit. Ciara didn't just deny the accusations, she flipped the narrative back on Chrissy, implying her suspicion came from insecurity rather than reality. But Ciara wasn't done. She added a kicker that left jaws on the floor. And since people love receipts, don't make me pull up the messages you don't want the world to see. That line alone sent Twitter into chaos. Receipts. What receipts? Was Ciara hinting at private messages between herself and Jim Jones? Between Jim and Chrissy? Or was it something deeper? Something that could expose hidden cracks in their relationship? Chrissy, predictably, didn't take it well. Within hours, she fired back on her own live. Ciara needs to keep my man's name out of her mouth. You're married. You're supposed to be happy. So why are you even entertaining this? I don't need no pop star telling me about my relationship. Stay in your fairy tale and stop trying to make me the villain. But instead of calming things down, Chrissy's words only poured gasoline on the fire. Screenshots began surfacing from fan accounts' alleged DMIs between Jim Jones and Ciara years ago. One thread claimed Jim had reached out to Ciara about a potential collab, but the tone of the messages felt too personal. One fan tweeted, "If these are real, no wonder Chrissy's mad." Jim wasn't just talking business. The twist? Jim Jones suddenly became the centerpiece of the feud. What had started as a war of words between Ciara and Chrissy now dragged him directly into the spotlight. And the blogs ate it up. Headlines screamed, Ciara versus Chrissy. Jim Jones receipts leak, and did Jim cross the line? And did Jim cross the line? The fallout was brutal for Jim. He tried to play neutral, posting a cryptic message on his Instagram story. "Stop dragging me into women's drama. I'm focused on music and family." But fans weren't buying it. Commenters flooded his page with demands. "Drop the truth, Jim. Are the DMS real? Why you always caught in the middle?" Meanwhile, Ciara doubled down, tweeting, Funny how the ones yelling the loudest are the ones with the most to hide. That post alone gained over 500,000 likes in under an hour, fueling speculation that she really did have receipts. The twist wasn't just that Jim was caught in the middle. It was that Ciara was now painting herself not as the villain, but as the victim of Chrissy's paranoia and Jim's blurred boundaries. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Was Chrissy attacking Ciara out of insecurity? Or did Ciara know more about Jim's past behavior than she was letting on? The panel of public opinion was divided straight down the middle. Some fans applauded Ciara for finally clapping back after months of Chrissy's shade. Others dragged her for even entertaining the drama, arguing that a married woman should have stayed quiet. And then there were those who turned their heat on Jim, accusing him of letting his two worlds collide and refusing to take accountability. But the biggest cliffhanger of all came late that night, when a popular gossip blog teased a part 2 of the receipts. Their post read, "Y'all thought today was wild. Wait until you see what we've got tomorrow. Chrissy's not ready. Jim's not ready. Ciara's receipts are coming." Fans went into a frenzy. Was this a real leak? Did Ciara give the blog permission to post? Or was it just another round of rumors feeding the chaos? One thing was certain. This feud was no longer just a war of words. It was about to explode into a full-blown scandal with Jim Jones at the very center. Forced to choose between defending his longtime partner or keeping the peace with a global superstar who wasn't afraid to expose the truth. And if the leaks were real, then this was only the beginning, when gossip blogs teased that more receipts were on the way. Fans thought it might just be hype, but within 24 hours, the internet got exactly what it was waiting for. A full-blown leak of alleged DMs between Ciara and Jim Jones. The screenshots spread like wildfire. In them, Jim appeared to be complimenting Ciara in a way that felt less like business and more like flirting. One message read, "You know, you, the baddest in the game. We should vibe sometime, just us." Another allegedly had Ciara responding politely, shutting it down with a simple, "Thanks, but I'm focused on my own lane." Immediately, fans took sides. Team Ciara argued that the DMIs showed her deflecting Jim's advances, proving Chrissy's anger had been misplaced all along. Team Chrissy countered that Ciara should have shut it down harder and blocked him, instead of leaving the door cracked. And in the middle of the storm, Jim was painted as the common denominator, the man whose blurred boundaries had sparked a war between two powerful women. But here's where things got even messier. Bloggers claimed these weren't the only messages. Some alleged that older, deleted DMs existed, ones that showed more than just polite declines. Rumors swirled that Jim had pressed harder, and Ciara had entertained the conversation longer than she admitted. Twitter went nuclear. One viral post read, "Ciara didn't want the smoke, but Chrissy smelled it. Jim's been out here embarrassing both of them." Another countered, "Chrissy owes Ciara an apology." The receipts clearly show she wasn't interested. Jim's the problem. Meanwhile, Chrissy wasted no time escalating the feud. She hopped on Instagram Live again, this time furious, waving her phone at the camera and declaring, "I don't need no fake princess trying to tell me about loyalty. I've been loyal. I built my man." And Ciara, "Girl, you've been hiding behind that perfect image." But the truth always comes out. Her tone was venomous, her energy unhinged. She even hinted that she had her own receipts, saying, "Don't make me pull out what I got. It's 'cause y'all will see Ciara ain't no saint." That line set the internet ablaze. Was Chrissy bluffing? Or did she really have dirt on Ciara? Blogs immediately began speculating. Old hookups, backstage drama, maybe even industry whispers about Ciara's past relationships resurfacing. Ciara, meanwhile, clapped back again, this time with a cryptic tweet that sent chills. It's funny how people scream loyalty while their man's sliding into other women's DMs. "I'm not the problem, sis. Look closer to home." Boom. Another bomb dropped. Ciara wasn't just defending herself anymore. She was putting the spotlight directly back on Chrissy and Jim's relationship, subtly exposing the cracks everyone has whispered about for years. The shocking reveal came later that night, when another leak surfaced, not from Ciara, not from Chrissy, but from an anonymous source claiming to be close to Jim's camp. This leak suggested that Chrissy had known about Jim's friendly messages to Ciara all along, but had chosen to ignore them until Ciara's silence made her look insecure. One line from the leak read, "Chrissy saw the DMs years ago. She forgave Jim, but now that Ciara's married and thriving, she's using this as a chance to drag her down." That revelation reframed the entire feud. Was Chrissy projecting her anger at Ciara instead of addressing Jim directly? Was Ciara really just caught in the crossfire of an old wound Chrissy never healed? Fans couldn't get enough. TikTok edits split-screen Ciara's poised responses with Chrissy's fiery rants, captioned, "Grace versus Rage." Twitter users joked that Jim should just log off forever. Instagram turned into a comment war, with celebrities quietly liking posts that signaled their allegiance. Kik Palmer liked a post praising Ciara's grace under fire. Tamar Braxton commented under Chrissy's live replay, "Sometimes you gotta check a girl who forgets her place." And 50 Cent, always eager to stir drama, posted a meme of Jim sweating with the caption, "Boy, you better pick a side." The public spectacle reached new heights when TMZ style blogs reported that Chrissy and Jim had been spotted arguing loudly outside of a restaurant in New Jersey the night after Ciara's tweet. Paparazzi photos showed Chrissy pointing her finger in Jim's face while he tried to calm her down. The headline, "Ciara feud spills into Jim and Chrissy's real life." The escalation was undeniable. This wasn't just social media shade anymore. It was bleeding into real life, into their relationship, into the very foundation of Chrissy and Jim's partnership. And the cliffhanger. A gossip site claimed they had voice notes that would flip the narrative again, proof that someone wasn't telling the whole truth. Were they from Ciara, clarifying her side? From Jim, admitting fault? Or from Chrissy, exposing more than she bargained for? No one knew for sure, but one thing was clear. This feud had evolved from petty shade to a full-blown scandal. And Jim Jones was no longer just caught in the middle. He was the reason the middle existed at all. And if those voice notes leak, the whole story could change in ways no one's prepared for by the time the alleged DMs and Chrissy's furious live had circulated. The drama wasn't just a trending topic, it was dominating the entire entertainment industry's conversation. Hashtags like #CIARAV is Chrissy, #Jim in the middle, and #receipts or a DIDNT happen were plastered across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But the reactions weren't just from fans. This scandal had celebrities, influencers, and even industry executives chiming in on Twitter. Fans split into three camps: Team Ciara, Team Chrissy, and Team Jim ain't worth it. Team Ciara defended her grace and restraint, posting compilations of her most empowering moments in the music industry alongside captions like, "She doesn't need to prove herself to anyone. Her whole life is the receipt." Team Chrissy fired back, digging up old interviews where Ciara clashed with other women in the industry, framing her as a repeat offender. And then there were the neutrals, dragging Jim for being the messy spark in the firestorm. One viral post simply read, "These women are fighting over Jim Jones." Jim Jones. Nah, we've lost the plot. But while fans argued online, the industry itself began to show cracks. Bet producers were reportedly scrambling, with Love and Hip Hop cameras rolling for their next season. Insiders leaked that they were under intense pressure to convince Chrissy and Jim to bring this drama to the show. One insider allegedly told a blog, "Producers are praying this feud makes it on camera. It's TV gold." But Ciara's camp wants nothing to do with it. They think it'll hurt her brand. VH1 veterans even resurfaced clips from old Love and Hip Hop episodes, where Chrissy clashed with other women over Jim. Fans started connecting the dots, saying Chrissy's pattern was clear: protect Jim at all costs, even when it meant going to war with other women. Meanwhile, Ciara's peers in the music industry rallied around her. Kelly Rowland tweeted, Grace under pressure is still grace. Love you sis at CIARA. Missy Elliott, Ciara's longtime mentor, quietly liked a post praising her dignity in the face of drama. On the flip side, Tamar Braxton doubled down, siding with Chrissy by writing under a Shade Room post, "Sometimes women do need to check other women, period." And then there was Nicki Minaj, though she didn't mention names. She posted a cryptic tweet. "Funny how some of y'all quick to scream receipts when your man been messy? Pick better men. Save us the drama." Fans immediately interpreted it as shade toward Chrissy, sparking even more chaos in the comments. The public wasn't the only one dissecting every move. Fashion brand Ciara was working with suddenly faced questions. Was she too messy to represent luxury lines? Or was her refusal to stoop to Chrissy's level proof that she was the perfect ambassador for elegance? PR insiders told Page Six that Ciara's team was in crisis mode, carefully vetting every post and preparing statements in case the feud spiraled further. Chrissy, meanwhile, leaned fully into the attention. She was spotted front row at a fashion event in New York, solo. Without Jim, and paparazzi caught her smirking when asked if she had more receipts. Her only answer was, "Stay tuned." That clip alone racked up millions of views within hours, cementing her as the unapologetic fire starter of the scandal. And Jim, his silence became its own headline. Memes flooded the internet, portraying him as the man hiding under the covers while two women torched each other's reputations over him. Fans dragged him mercilessly. Jim Jones gotta be the most overrated man in hip-hop history if he got Ciara and Chrissy beefing like this. Another viral TikTok used footage of Jim performing on stage with the caption, "Nobody cares about the music, bro. Drop receipts or sit down." But the industry was watching for more than just entertainment value. Executives whispered about the potential fallout. Would Ciara's spotless reputation finally take a hit? Would Chrissy's fiery personality open doors for her own spin-off series? And would Jim, caught in the middle, see his career collapse under the weight of being the problem? Even journalists jumped in. One op-ed in a major hip-hop magazine argued, "This feud isn't about Ciara versus Chrissy. It's about how women are too, often forced to fight each other while men escape accountability. Jim created this mess. Yet somehow, the focus is on the women." That perspective resonated deeply, sparking think pieces across the internet. Still, nothing could overshadow the looming promise of voice notes. Gossip blogs claimed that audio recordings existed, and these would prove once and for all who was lying. Were they Jim confessing to downplaying the DMs? Were they Chrissy admitting she knew more than she let on? Or could they even be Ciara, privately venting to friends about the entire ordeal? The anticipation reached fever pitch when the Shade Room posted, "Voice notes incoming. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. EST. Y'all ready?" Within minutes, Instagram was flooded with speculation threads. YouTube commentators promised live breakdowns. And Twitter users prepared popcorn memes. The public wasn't just reacting anymore. They were bracing for a climax, a revelation that could either vindicate Ciara, expose Chrissy, or completely implode Jim's image, because when those voice notes dropped, there would be no going back. The clock struck 6 p.m. EST, and the internet held its breath. Blogs had teased it, fans had counted down the hours, and now the voice notes were here. Within seconds, links began circulating across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Entire timelines froze as millions pressed play. Desperate to know what really happened between Ciara, Chrissy, and Jim Jones. The first voice note was shocking enough. It allegedly captured Jim speaking to a close friend, his tone low and nervous. "I told Chrissy those DMs weren't nothing. Ciara ain't even respond like that. But Chrissy, she took it too far. I can't control her, bro. Now it's out of my hands." The second note, however, flipped the narrative upside down. This time, it wasn't Jim. It was Chrissy's voice. In the recording, she seemed furious, saying, "I don't care what Jim says. I saw enough. I'm not letting Ciara disrespect me. Not again." She better know I'll expose everything if I have to. That word again stopped everyone cold. Again. Did this mean there had been a previous incident between Ciara and Chrissy that fans never knew about? Was this feud not new, but a continuation of old wounds buried deep? But it was the third voice note that truly broke the internet. In it, a female voice, believed to be Ciara's, was overheard venting to a confidant. "I've stayed quiet for years. I've let her come at me sideways, let her pretend like I was the threat." But the truth. If Jim had been honest about the first time, none of this would have blown up. I won't let her rewrite the story again. The bombshell landed with the force of an earthquake. What first time was Ciara talking about? Did Jim and Ciara have some history the public never knew about? Had Chrissy been fighting ghosts of the past while Jim let both women carry the blame? Twitter went nuclear. One fan wrote, "Wait, so this beef goes back years, and Jim been lying to both. This man gotta be stopped." Another added, "Ciara said the quiet part out loud." If there was a first time, imagine what else we don't know. As speculation spiraled, gossip insiders hinted that producers at VH1 had been sitting on unseen footage from years ago, footage that could finally explain the hidden tension between Ciara and Chrissy. Rumors swirled that the network was already preparing to drop the never-before-seen clips as part of a special episode to capitalize on the chaos. Meanwhile, Jim Jones couldn't dodge the heat any longer. Paparazzi cornered him outside a studio, demanding answers. All he could manage was, "Y'all don't know the half of it. It's not what it looks like." But to fans, that wasn't denial, it was confirmation. And then came the wildest twist yet. A source claiming to be part of Jim's inner circle told a major blog, "This ain't just about Ciara or Chrissy. There's another name involved, someone else from the industry who was part of the first blow-up. If that name comes out, it's over for all of them." The internet nearly collapsed under the weight of that revelation. Who could the mystery third party be? Another artist, an ex. Someone even bigger than Ciara or Chrissy. Suddenly, the feud wasn't just about two women clapping back. It was about an all-tire hidden scandal threatening to explode. TikTok exploded with theories. Some claimed the third person was a legendary female R&B star, suggesting this feud was part of a larger pattern of rivalry. Others swore it was a reality TV castmate who had dirt on Jim but kept it quiet until now. And a few whispered the most shocking theory of all, that it was someone close to Ciara's current circle. Meaning this drama wasn't just past, it was about to crash into her present life. The cliffhanger reached its peak when Chrissy went live again, smirking as thousands tuned in. All she said was, "The voice notes are just the beginning. Y'all want the truth? Wait until the footage drops." And then she ended the live with a wink. Fans lost their minds. What footage? Was it the unseen VH1 clips? Was it private recordings Chrissy had kept hidden? Or was it something even darker? Something that could obliterate Ciara's carefully built image and drag Jim's name through the mud permanently? By the end of the night, one thing was clear. The feud had only just begun. The voice notes opened a door nobody could close, and the promise of hidden footage ensured the world would be glued to every update. And as Ciara, Chrissy, and Jim all remained silent after the leaks, the world was left screaming the same question: what else are they hiding? And there you have it. The Ciara versus Chrissy feud just turned into one of the wildest scandals the industry has ever seen. With Jim Jones standing right in the middle and the internet left gasping for answers. But let me be real with you, this story is far from over. If those voice notes are just the beginning, then imagine the chaos when the footage drops. So now I have to ask you, whose side are you really on? Are you Team Ciara, standing by her poise, her silence, and her refusal to stoop down into the mud? Or are you Team Chrissy, riding with her fire, her passion, and her promise to expose everything? Or maybe, just maybe, you're like a lot of fans online who say Jim is the true problem. And both women deserve better than being dragged into his mess. Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't hold back. Was Ciara really hiding a past with Jim? Did Chrissy overstep by dragging Private Dimez into the spotlight? And most importantly, who is this mysterious third name insiders keep hinting about? That's the piece of the puzzle nobody has put together yet. And it could change the entire story when it comes out. If you're as hooked as I am, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications because, trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. The second that unseen footage surfaces, I'll be here breaking it down line by line, frame by frame, by bringing you every messy detail the blogs won't tell you. The drama isn't ending here. It's only just beginning. Isn't ending here. It's only just beginning.